Friday nights at Danny's Tavern were never quiet. The neon signs hummed against the wooden walls, glasses clinked rhythmically behind the counter, and a jukebox poured out an old country tune that drowned the hum of conversations. It was the kind of place where uniforms came to loosen their ties, where cops became just men with beers and grudges. In the far corner, tucked into the shadows of a booth, Daniel and David Thompson sat side by side. Identical twins, 34 years old, built like quiet storms. They looked like they belonged, and yet didn't. Same calm eyes, same steady posture, the stillness of men who saw everything and revealed nothing. Their beers sat untouched, not because they didn't drink, but because they had already read the room, and the room was reading them back. The door creaked. 3 silhouettes stepped into the smoky light, boots heavy against the wooden floor. Officer Brett Coleman, tall, broad, arrogant in posture, led the pack. At his flanks, Rick Torres quieter, eyes sharper, and Jake Morrison, already reeking of whiskey, his steps unsteady but dangerous in their unpredictability. The bar hushed slightly, as if air itself shifted. Brett's shadow loomed over the booth, his hands planted firmly on the table. Leaning forward, his voice pitched low but sharp enough to slice through the country tune. Brett. "Evening, gentlemen. Think you better move along before things get complicated." The brothers didn't flinch, didn't exchange a word. Daniel, the one who always spoke first, lifted his beer casually, the amber liquid catching the neon light. His voice was calm, measured, almost polite. "Daniel. Is there a problem, officer?" The ease in his tone unsettled Rick instantly. Most men tensed up around uniforms, especially men like Daniel and David. But these two were still. Too still. Brett smirked, mistaking calmness for weakness. "Brett, the problem is, this bar isn't for people like you. You're not wanted here." David finally moved. Slowly. His head tilted upward, eyes locking with Brett's. A quiet gaze, unsettling in its serenity. His voice carried no tremor, no rush. "Just a quiet truth, David. People like us? We're just here for a beer." Jake barked a laugh, loud and harsh, startling a couple near the jukebox. "Jake, you don't get it. This is our turf. Suspicious types don't get to sit around like they belong." The tension spread like smoke. Conversation stalled. Glasses paused mid-air. 3 cops against 2 black men. Everyone in that tavern knew the script. They had seen it before, only this time the script was wrong. Something in the twins' eyes didn't fit the role of victims. Daniel's eyes flicked once to his brother. A half-second glance, no words, just memory. The language of twins forged in fire. David's hand brushed his wallet on the table. Slow, deliberate. He placed it down flat like an offering, like a move in chess. "David, tell you what, maybe you should show your IDs first, just so we know you're really cops." A ripple of unease went through the bar. Nobody ever said that to Brett. Brett's jaw tightened. His hand slammed the table, making the bottles rattle. "Brett, you challenging me, boy?" Rick stepped closer, his voice low, caution heavy in it. "Rick, Brett, let it go. They'll leave." But Jake, drunk and reckless, shoved forward. His finger jabbed the air, his words slurred but dripping with venom. "Jake, you think we're playing? You don't belong here, and we make the rules." Daniel rose slowly, his chair sliding back with the weight of inevitability. David followed, both movements synchronized like a single body split in 2. No rush, no panic, just control. Daniel's voice was softer now, but it carried across the silence of the bar. "Daniel, we don't want trouble. We'll finish our drinks and leave." Brett shoved him hard, testing, pushing, trying to provoke. The jukebox clicked to the next song, but nobody heard it. The bar was silent. Daniel didn't move back. Didn't even blink. He only leaned in slightly, his words measured. "Daniel, we'll leave. But you'll remember this moment. Brett, mocking laugh. Oh, yeah? What are you gonna do? Write me a letter? David's eyes were cold, steady, his voice almost pitying. David, you really have no idea who you're talking to. They walked toward the door, unhurried, shoulders squared, movement so precise it unnerved even Rick. They weren't backing down. They were calculating. At the threshold, Daniel paused, turning his head slightly. His final words were quiet, almost gentle. Daniel, one last chance, officer. You can still walk away from this night clean. Brett sneered. Brett. Or what? Daniel's smile wasn't defiance. It wasn't arrogance. It was patience. The smile of a man who had already decided the outcome. Daniel. Or nothing. Just thought it was fair to warn you. The twins disappeared into the night. Inside, the tavern exhaled, but unease lingered. Rick Torres rubbed the back of his neck, the chill settling in his bones. He had seen men bluff before, but those two weren't bluffing. In 15 minutes, the truth of that would carve itself into history.